A van was preparing to reverse in a loading area. As it slowly moved backward, everything seemed under control. However, the driver did not notice the woman standing behind the vehicle, and the woman also failed to see the van approaching her, creating a dangerous situation. Never stand in blind spots when a vehicle is reversing. The surroundings must always be checked before moving the vehicle. If visibility is lost, the vehicle should be stopped immediately. In a factory, a worker tried to intervene without waiting for the machine to stop. He also began repairing it while the shaft was still spinning. While everything seemed normal, the machine suddenly started to produce intense vibrations, and events unfolded within seconds. Never intervene before a machine has completely stopped. If the machine is faulty, cut off the power and switch it to safe mode. Remember, one of the biggest causes of workplace accidents is not having sufficient knowledge of occupational safety. A man who wanted to paint his entire house climbed up a ladder. However, after placing the ladder incorrectly, he lost his balance, and the situation became dangerous within seconds. In such situations, the ladder must be carefully secured and kept stable. It should always be placed on a solid and level surface, and anti-slip supports should be used. Remember, a small moment of carelessness can turn into a major risk. At an outdoor event, a person was giving a speech. During the speech, due to strong winds, the large screen positioned at the back shifted from its place and moved toward the stage. Fortunately, the person did not suffer serious injuries apart from a few bruises. Never use temporary stage setups without securing them properly. In extremely windy conditions, avoid going on stage if necessary. External factors can change stability. A woman working late at the office was sitting at her desk. The environment was very quiet, with only the sound of equipment in the background. Suddenly, that calm was disrupted. A loud noise came from the refrigerator, and the lower door suddenly swung open. Later inspections revealed that there was a fault in the refrigerator's compressor, and the noise was caused by pressure buildup. Never neglect the maintenance of electrical devices. Regular checks and proper maintenance can prevent situations like this. Be careful. What seems like a small issue can turn into a major problem. At a construction site, two workers were trying to position metal supports. The worker below was unaware that he was standing in the wrong place. As the worker above pulled the metal bar, another wooden piece came along with it and moved toward the worker below. Never stand underneath while vertical supports are being placed. If not properly secured, such tasks can pose serious risks. At a drilling site, a wrong move while the well was open caused water to rise vertically. As the event unfolded within seconds, water and debris continued to surge upward. As water is pumped into the well, pressure increases. If the outlet is restricted or an underground cavity suddenly connects, the pressure can rise rapidly. In such cases, when the water finds an open well, it can erupt outward. Never perform operations while water is flowing from active well openings. Otherwise, pressure changes can create dangerous situations. Workers should be kept at a safe distance, and barriers should be used. A worker operating a vibratory compactor was working near the edge of a sidewalk. While everything seemed under control, he suddenly got too close to the edge and lost his balance. Combined with the vibration, the situation quickly became dangerous. Never use compactors uncontrollably on sloped or unstable edges. These machines operate with vibration, and their balance can change rapidly. Always choose a flat and stable surface. While loading a truck, a worker was standing on the ground giving directions. However, he did not notice another truck approaching from behind. As the vehicle was reversing, it moved uncontrollably toward the worker. The worker tried to escape in panic. Fortunately, the driver noticed him and hit the brakes. Never stand in blind spots near heavy vehicles. In such situations, always check your surroundings and create a safe space for yourself. Being careful can save lives. One of the biggest causes of workplace accidents is not having sufficient knowledge of occupational safety. At a container yard, a truck was positioning itself to secure a container. While everything seemed normal, the crane continued loading heavy containers. However, a sudden malfunction occurred, and the containers lost their balance and fell onto the truck below. Never enter areas where loads are suspended. Such areas should always be kept clear and secured with barriers. Even a small mistake can lead to serious consequences. Two workers placed wooden boards into a machine to cut them. However, a problem occurred with the machine. One of the workers moved away to get help. At that moment, the machine suddenly started and the other worker faced a dangerous situation while trying to pass between the two boards. In such situations, passage areas must be properly defined and risky zones should be avoided. If there is an issue with the machine, it must be stopped and only handled after the power has been cut. Remember, even simple mistakes can lead to serious risks. In the evening, a delivery worker was trying to deliver an order to a construction site. However, due to being distracted, he did not notice the open elevator shaft. Never work while sleep-deprived or exhausted. When you are distracted, accidents become inevitable. At a sand processing facility, a loader truck was performing routine loading, but as the bucket filled up, the machine suddenly lost its balance. The weight of the load lifted the rear, and control was lost. The vehicle rolled backward, hit nearby equipment, and the situation quickly became dangerous. Never start an operation without checking the machine's balance and the ground before lifting heavy loads. Remember, with heavy machinery, even a small balance mistake can lead to a rollover. A worker entered the intersection of a machine while the system was still running. The power had not been cut, and the operators were unaware that someone was inside. The automatic cycle continued. Suddenly, the machine moved, and the worker became trapped inside. Within seconds, the situation turned into panic. Never enter a machine without cutting the power and applying lockout procedures. Before entering, the energy must be completely shut off, the team must be informed, and operators must check blind spots. Safety sensors should also be active to prevent incidents like this.